This meeting is being recorded.
Hey everybody, welcome to Team Faith and Soul Saturday Night Training. I'm so excited to not only have a packed Zoom tonight, this is exciting for me, but also I'm excited for tonight's topic. So tonight's topic is something that I think is actually really good for us right now, especially going into the holiday season. A lot of us, especially in Team Faith and Soul, have current parties that are going on. And by the way, it's not just one type of party. If you're new to Cincy or new to the team, there's not just one type of partying. All of us on Team Faith and Soul actually have different parties going on in different ways. There's back parties, text parties, and online parties that I know that are currently happening within our team. So I'm super excited about that. But tonight's topic is basically just host coaching. So host coaching, our weekly focus for next week and this week going into next week is how to avoid being ghosted at a party. So I don't know, you guys that are currently on Zoom live with us, if you all have had that experience before as far as being ghosted. I think we all have. Not only ghosted, but also having parties that we've had before set up, no matter what that looked like, to where it just bombed, right? Like it didn't go anywhere. It bombed. We took all the time setting it up. You even possibly host coached. You did all the things, and then crickets, right? It happens. And trust me when I say, I probably have had at least maybe every couple of months, maybe every 2 months, a party that I've set up and then it bombed. Now, I will say that over almost the last 3 years I've been with Cincy, I have had it to where I've kind of I feel like changed my party styles up and then made it to where it's a lot simpler for myself. So then that way, if I do actually have a situation where it does bomb, I have backup options and I have a way to kind of backtrack and then make sure that it's not a complete loss. So, kind of like a little side nugget of information. If you do have somebody that wants to host a party, that's super exciting, by the way, because it's hard to host a party. Like we've got things going on, right? We've got personal stuff going on. Our lives are busy. So if we have somebody in our business that does say yes to hosting, that's a huge freaking deal. Even if their party doesn't go right, um, we'll go into the rest of the training, but just so you know, FYI, you can easily turn that into a personal shopping link and it just can't all be lost. All your hard work is not going to be completely lost. But things happen. All right. So if they make a great host, they just might make a great consultant. Before we go into the rest of it, I just want to put that out there, just FYI. If they're a good host, odds are they're going to be a really good consultant, because they're one step ahead, basically. It's one less thing for you to actually have to talk to them about, when they're joining. The energy that you give off when asking to host for someone to host will project onto your audience. So what I mean by that is, if you are like this, if you're going live and you're like, hey guys, so I need some parties this month. I don't know if anybody wants to host or not, but if you want to, just get with me. All right, talk to you later. No one, no, let's be honest. No one is gonna be like, yeah, yes, I want to host with her. No, no, y'all. They're gonna be like, oh, something must be really going on with her, in her person. Like something's like, I don't want to host with that person. Like, talk about a mood killer. Mood killer. So here's the thing. Obviously, although I have a lot of energy most of the time, I'm not always like this. I know, shocker. But when you are wanting somebody to host with you, be authentic. If that means that maybe a lot of times, I'm feeling fine, but I have RBF face sometimes. So if that's happening, I may not necessarily want to go live. Like if I just can't fix this here and this isn't happening for me, then I'm not going to go live. But I'll post a goofy photo of myself, I'll post a funny quote, and then I'll talk about hey, I'm looking for, people to party with me this month. I've got 3 spots open. Who's in? That kind of thing. But a lot of times, what does help, I will suggest this, is voice messages. So if you can send a voice message to somebody, you can do that through Facebook Messenger. If you have Snapchat, you can do that through Snapchat. To me, that is the best way, idealistically, to talk to somebody one-on-one about getting them to host with you, because they're going to hear the inflection in your voice. They're going to hear that your excitement, that you're genuine. Because think about like when you're texting somebody one-on-one, like sometimes that text doesn't necessarily come through. Like I feel obligated all the time, you guys, to put emojis with my text because I'm afraid that somebody is going to take it the wrong way. So I'm like, oh, better clip a couple of fun emojis in here to let them know I'm just playing. So if we don't do that, or they can't hear like the inflection in our voice, then they're not going to take us seriously, right? And they're not going to be like, no, moving on. And honestly, that's where they're going to ghost you. Because if you're not excited, how the hell should we expect them to like get excited? So like I said, voice messages, Snapchat, going live in your stories. If you're comfortable with doing so, go live in your stories, create a little snippet. One thing, if you didn't already know this, you can click on camera and then you can go to your video. You could do a short recording of yourself. It'll save it, and then you can actually add that to your stories. You can include your grandkids, you can include your fur babies, whatever makes you feel comfortable. If like Jeriel did a cool post, she was talking about her Scentsy buddy. Like if buddies make you feel more comfortable, do a short live, hang out with your buddy, and then talk about, hey, my buddy and I are looking for, you to host for a party. Let's do this. It's going to have fun. We've got great things coming this season. Get creative, be yourself. Consider doing a host bingo. I thought this was pretty cool. It's been a hot minute since I've done bingo, honestly. Some of you guys, Team Faith and Soul, have done bingo with me before in the past, before y'all became consultants. That's a lot of fun. Basically, the concept behind that, real short and quickly, just to describe it a little bit, is that if you have somebody that's interested in doing that, that would be where they can invite 25 to 35 people. Typically, if you're doing an online party, I do recommend 25 to 35 people. Let that be the max, and then also the minimum. And the max be 35. The reason why is because you don't want too many people that people get lost in the mix and then they forget to turn their notifications on. Also, you don't want less than 25, because the more that, to me, I personally find that is a good group. That's a good number to have, because you have a variety of people. You have the ones that are the wallflowers, but then you also have guests who are interacting and participating. So it's a good mix. One personal thing that I suggest when you have a party that you're doing is asking your host before you start the party what their favorite products are. One easy way that your host can do that now is to go to your website and be like, hey, here's my link, shop around, see if you can create your own wish list, add it to your cart. And if you guys didn't already know that, once you add items to the cart, there is a place on there that you can share it out with someone else, have your host share it back with you. So then that way you can see what their wish list is. And one easy way that you can make it so simplified when you're wanting to sit down and schedule your post out, and I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but you can schedule a post out for parties. And if you're trying to decide what it is that you're wanting for that party, let that wish list for your host be your guide, because we have a huge freaking catalog, right? So if you're trying to cram all of that product into like a week, 2-week span, honestly, I think a week is more than long enough for a party, in my opinion. But if you're trying to post and post and post, you're going to lose your audience's attention. And like, if they're anything like me and the rest of us, we got squirrel brain, right? Like we have to get their attention like this. So that's where you're going to narrow and hone down, is getting that host their wish list and post every single day for that whole week, one item per day, at least 2, I would say max, of their wish list. And the reason why that wish list is going to come in handy is because your host, for one, is going to get super excited about it, right? Because it's the products that they're wanting. So they're going to be interacting, liking, loving, all that jazz. But also your guests are going to get a look at what your host wants. So for example, what I mean by that is I've done parties before for my host's birthday. I'm like, hey, let's do a birthday celebration. I love to celebrate you. Let's get 25 to 35 of your people in line, or whatever that looks like for your party, depending upon the party style, and let's celebrate you. And one really cool concept is that once your host has that wish list, then I can say, hey, this is so and so's birthday wish list. If you'd like to gift them anything, let me know and I can place that order for you, which is so cool because in that way you can have that item sent to them. And bonus, if you guys also didn't know this, when your people or yourself go to check out, there is an option on there where you can say gift and there's a gift message. Did y'all know that? Did you know there's a gift message? Super cool. Yeah, so if it's for somebody's birthday, that's going to save a lot of money because now your person doesn't have to do a birthday card. That could be a birthday card in itself. I actually had a customer do that the other day. They wanted to send their goddaughter a whip box. So I clicked on gift message and then I just typed in there. I said happy birthday and their name. And I think they said like, hope you have a great day, that kind of thing, which was super cool. So yeah, so bingo concept, bingo card, pretty self-explanatory. Those are a lot of fun. You can do that in person or online. Keep it super simple. I mean, there are fancy like bingo cards, honestly, that you get online. In my personal opinion, the easiest way that I've done that before is you could do like 9 numbers. I mean, you could pretty much make it up as you go. But in the past, like I've done it to where you have like a set day, a set time that's good for you and your host. You go live and you have the guest pick. Typically, what I'll say is like 6 numbers. They pick their own 6 numbers. And it's not a matter of like trusting them, if they lie to you or not. It's just a matter of having fun. So they pick 6 numbers, and then you could say, like, oh, you get a bonus 3 if you invite a friend to our bingo live. So if they invite a friend, then they get those bonus 3. And and then also when you're picking numbers, there's easy ways to do that. So like I have an app that I've used before. There's free apps that you can download that'll pick the bingo numbers. If you want to be extra, I think what did I do before? Oh, I had the guests give me their numbers ahead of time, and I actually wrote down on a piece of paper all of the numbers that they gave me, and I think I may have put in a couple extra, but then I just pulled that. So then that way you're speeding that game along, a lot faster. So that's a lot of fun as well. Another really cool thing, and I'm actually going to try to find this document. So when I watched Tuesday's training this last week, the consultant, the leader that spoke, she actually talked about how there was a bingo card that she created herself, and this was a different concept. So the bingo card was actually for the host, and I thought this was really cool because the bingo card that she gives to each of her hosts gives them things to do. So it gives them like a to-do list. And it's fun and interactive. So for example, on her bingo card, as an example, she said, go live and share your favorite product. Then another box said, invite a teacher. Then another one said, invite 2 redheads. So that it makes it not only more fun and interactive, right? But also it's getting her excited. And then she said that she would actually have like a prize for the host once they completed and filled out their whole bingo card. So I thought that was pretty cool because when you're setting up a party in general, whether it's a text party like what I'm doing, a bag party, online party like Jeriel's doing right now, she's doing online parties, like when you have somebody that's a host, you want to make sure and not only make it fun and interactive, but you want to make sure and set it up to their comfort level, right? So if you know somebody, for example, that has a crazy schedule that they're just trying to keep their head above water, the last thing that you want to do is like, oh, here's my bingo card. Could you fill this out? And here's some instructions and tasks. But if you have somebody that likes to be challenged and they like things like that and competition, that bingo card could maybe be something that's a little bit fun. But like I said, I'll this next week for Team Faith and Soul, I'll look into seeing if I can find that bingo card that she talked about, because I thought that was pretty cool. Otherwise, if I can't find it, it's going to be easy to create. So I'll go through Canva and then I'll just create my own and I'll share that with you guys. Because that won't take too long. Let's see. When you have a party, encourage your host to tag or reach out to friends who would like a certain product. So if you guys already do that, that's something I definitely encourage. And an easier way that you can do that is have your host make a list of, for one, you want them to have a list of who they're inviting, right? But once they have that list, then you could be like, okay, well, hey, in your downtime, write little notes by that person that you're inviting, what they like. Or, hey, by the way, I'm going to be posting through this whole next week of our party. If you see something that your friend would like, if you don't mind, could you tag them real quick? Because two things, you're not pretty much killing two birds with one stone, because the guests that are in that party may not necessarily see the post. So once they're tagged, I don't know if you guys have also seen this, but Facebook is getting super fancy. And if you tag somebody, it actually goes to Messenger. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but I don't think it's happening every time. But I have noticed that when I am tagging somebody in something, they're getting notified through Messenger that they were actually tagged. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know how long that's going to last, but that was a lot of fun. That's pretty cool. I like that. Also, when they're reaching out to their friends. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, I just got done doing a text party. So as I was posting throughout the scrolling text party, my host contacted a couple of people and let them know, like, hey, this product is launching this next week. I think you would really like this. So again, that's just creating that one-on-one interaction. Make sure and always have your host thank everyone. Make sure and always have your host thank those for partying with them, because they didn't obviously have to accept the invitation. So if your host maybe is pressed for time and they can't necessarily thank every person who's ordering, at least reach out to them towards the end of the party and just say, hey, today, if you don't mind, could you post on the party page and thank everybody for coming? And what I mean by that is something that I personally did not do, and I should have done when I first started with Scentsy, is this whole idea of host coaching. What that means is that once you're setting up your party for your host, you're not just be like, okay, bye, I'll see you at the end of the week. I'll talk to you later. No. And I used to be really bad about that because I love control. I like being in control of the way things are going to go and happen and what it's going to say. And I always felt like that, why should I coach my host when I'm the consultant? Why should I do that? This is my job. But I learned the hard way, and that it's okay. It is okay. I have to keep telling myself this every time, by the way. It's okay to have your host do some things. I know, shocker, but it's okay to ask your host to help you out through your party. And I had to get over that. I had to get over the control, but I also had to get over that I felt like I was burdening my host. The reason why it's important for you guys to interact with your host and have them do some things throughout your party is because the ones that they're inviting may not know you. Like a lot of my host guests, they don't know me from Adam. I just had a party and then the people were mostly in Montana, y'all. Like no one in Montana knows me but my two customers, right? Like everybody in that area, they don't know me. They don't know me from Adam. So that's why it's important for my host to interact with her guest, because she's kind of like that median, right? She's that building bridge between the guest and myself. So it makes it less awkward. Let's see. We talked about the wish list and using that as a guide. One other thing that is important to do as a consultant, and this is something again that I have learned the hard way on, and I am definitely practicing for sure now, is following through with what you tell your host. So for example, if you have a personal special and you're offering that out to those who want to book parties with y'all, make sure and make a note of it and follow through with what you're saying. Because there are a lot of times when I'm like, squirrel brain, and I have like personal special here, host special here, there, here, whatever. And like, I remember, my God, last year, y'all, I had, I think, a different host special for every month. I don't recommend that. Because it's a lot to keep up with. It is a lot. Okay. Like, and y'all know I am extra. And I'm like, what the frick? Because I would have to have like a calendar and I had like, oh, you get a fragrance flower if you host this month. I know. Bye, Jeriel. Are you have a question?
No, when I was still your customer, you used to do little coupons.
Yeah.
And we have to redeem our coupons to get our specials. So if you go back, that might help you stay more focused.
Well, but here's the thing though. I did that. I remember I did that because I've done Wax Cash. I've done like the punch cards. I actually still have some floating around here that are blank, but you're talking about, like, I had the punch cards, and what that was, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, for those y'all that are watching the YouTube recording, is that I had little punch cards, and it was for every 10 orders placed, my customers would get something special from me. Usually it was like a wax bar, and then I changed it up after that. Here's the thing. I did away with that. Now, if you guys are doing that, Team Faith and Soul, if you are doing that, if you're watching YouTube and you're doing that, good for y'all. But I did not keep up with it. It was a lot. When my customer base started growing and growing and growing, I realized that that just wasn't like obtainable for me. And y'all, I was like freaking sitting down with my binder at the end of the month trying to play catch up. You get a punch, you get a punch, you get. No, I don't have time for that. So I did away with that. And I knew that it wasn't that big of a deal because a lot of my customers were like, nobody said anything. They didn't even notice. So it was okay. But it was fun for the time being. Now, I have considered possibly bringing that back this next year, just because my customer base is completely changing. And even though it's now finally growing, because I'm putting the work in, because that's what we have to do. By the way, like customers, I don't know, here's a shock factor for you guys. Customers are just not going to flood in through the gates, and they're not going to be like, oh, we've been looking for a consultant this whole time. No, I mean, maybe like once a month you might get that if you're lucky. But if you're not reaching out to people, the customers are not going to come. I don't know if you knew that, but there you go. But my customer base is finally growing because I'm putting the work in. I'm finally networking. Thank goodness. And because of that, that's where I think I'm going to start that back up in January, because I have new customers now. Like, most of my customers are regulars, or they join Team Faith and Soul. No, but I've got to start over. So I think that's what I'm going to do in January. But something like that, point to that is just make sure and be consistent, because I fell off halfway through last year and I was not consistent. And God bless my customers, because most of them didn't even keep up with it either. But whatever you do, be consistent. If something's not working, y'all, like I said, y'all, like I just told y'all, quit doing it if it's not working. Like, for example, I used to do Wax Cash. I maybe do one Wax Cash once a season, and then that's it. Because most of my customers, like, I can send out like, I don't know, 10 people. I'll send them Wax Cash, and I maybe have one person come back and do it. So just do what works for you. If it's not working, my favorite word, pivot, and then try to find something new. Let's see. So going back to like party styles. So just know that there's just not one type of party. So if you're new to Scentsy, there are an obscene amount of incredible amount of ways that you can party. Just a few examples is there's a basket party. Like I said, bingo party as well. Bingo party, pretty much, if y'all didn't know this, you could pretty much just do this within like an hour, 30 minutes. Really quick, to the point. Leave the link open for like a week. I would say really, truly like a weekend, like a 3-day kind of thing, and then close it up. Just make sure that with bingo that you're staying in compliance. That's something that got corrected, I think, over like a year ago. So what I mean by that is that you cannot do like a pay to play with bingo. You have to be careful about prizes. Like if you're offering prizes, don't show the prizes. Like, for example, like I think I kept it simple, did like scent circles, stuff like that. But if you're wanting to do the bingo concept, get with me personally, and then we can talk about how to be in compliance. Home parties, that's another one as well. One thing that I'm actually getting ready to bring back up is because I've been on the struggle bus with you guys trying to find people to do home parties. And because of that, I'm going to go back to what I did last year. It was really successful. Actually, two things is that I'm going to do a like small business in-home kind of like fall festival event in my house. If I find somebody else that's gonna, like one of my other customers or one of my other friends that wants to host it, even better. But more likely it's gonna be here at my house. I did that about 2 years ago, and it was really successful. And because I had, like, for example, my event that was canceled this month, I'm like, wait a minute, why can't I just do my own thing? So that's underway. And then the other thing that I did last year that went really well during quarantine time, 2 years ago, whatever. I feel like, anyways, y'all know what I mean. So during quarantine time, I had set up my trunk to where it was like a stop and shop. I'm going to do that again. You don't necessarily have to have product. You can easily just have like your testers. You can have maybe some samples, whatever the heck you have on hand. Like, I mean, use what you have as like testers. So like not just your wax testers, but if you have like fragrance mist, if you have room spray, if you have counter clean, Scentsy Fresh, y'all name it, whiffs, have that in the back of your trunk. Heck, you could even set it up on some tables in your driveway if you wanted to. Or for those y'all know, a couple y'all on Team Faith and Soul have condos and apartments. So you could even talk to your apartment condo manager. Most y'all have like meeting rooms, common area, commons rooms that you can rent out, or sometimes it's just free for you to do. You can have that set up as well. Or if you have like maybe 1 to 3 people, hell, I've had one person come to like my open house before. So sometimes that's all it takes. But figure out what works best for you. Another thing that I'm doing this month to keep it super simple, because again, I have 2 hosts lined up between this month and next month. But that's nothing as compared to what I'm used to. So I'm like, you know what? I got to take matters in my own hands. So the other thing that I'm doing this month is I'm actually meeting up with some of my VIPs at a local restaurant. I'm bringing a couple of Scentsy items with me, keeping it super simple. And then we're meeting up at a restaurant and we're going to have, appetizers, drinks, whatever, you name it. And then we're going to make it super casual and fun. And then my plan is to actually do that once a month. And I got this idea from a friend of mine where whoever meets up with me every month, we're basically going to be doing like round robin, and they're each going to have, it's going to be their link basically. So it's like everyone's going to order under their link because everyone that's coming is already a VIP on mine. They're a regular on mine. So they're going to be ready to order anyways. All right, let's see what else. Don't take yourself so seriously. Have fun. If you guys haven't already watched the Tuesday training there for last week with the all consultant training, it was freaking hilarious because the girl that spoke, she had a host of hers, and what she says is she encourages her host, if they're doing an online party, she'll drop off like if they're local, she'll drop off a little basket to them that has a couple products in it, and she encourages them to either pre-record a video or go live in a animated or accented voice and talk about the Scentsy product. And it was freaking hilarious, you guys, let me tell y'all, because the girl, the host, she had her basket, and the consultant gave her the challenge of talking in an Australian accent and talking about our Scentsy product. So she had the basket and she had her Scentsy buddy, and she talked about how she was pretty much kind of like a wildlife explorer in the outback, and like doing a commentary of hunting down wildlife. It was so cool, and her personality shined through that. So that's something that you can encourage your party host to do, and something that makes it not as stressful for them to go live or pre-record themselves is encourage them to have like a friend with them, or their kids, bring their kids in on it, and then just, be themselves. Now, obviously, going back to the fact that creates anxiety for that person, or if you know that that's not for that person, then don't introduce that to them. But if you feel like that they could really take that on and have fun with it, then, it wouldn't hurt to mention it to them. It really shakes things up, by the way. And also, a little nugget information on there. If that person does take off with that and do that challenge, that again is a huge green light for potential customer, or I'm sorry, potential consultant, because they're getting out of their comfort zone and they're having fun. And then let's see, get to know your host. Again, know their comfort zone. Sometimes have a copy and paste conversation with them. If you have a host that is strapped for time, if they're super busy, or if they get really anxious or nervous and they're like, I want to help you out, but I just don't think I'm going to be good at this. I don't think it's going to go. Have them copy and paste, come up with some verbiage. Hey, be like, hey, I need you to post this morning. Here's the photo, copy and paste this verbiage, and then have them do that, if that makes it easier for you and them. Have your host tag one person that they feel comfortable with. I typically refer to this as like their hype person. So if you have a host that may not necessarily either feel like it's going to go well, or if you feel like that they're going to be really shy throughout the party, have them have a conversation with a hype person. So this typically will normally be someone that's in their comfort zone. So a family member, good friend, coworker that can help tag team with them throughout the party. One fun thing that you can do is if that person that they bring in is actually helping them with tagging people, interacting, consider splitting the host rewards with between those two people, or offer that hype person a half off credit as a thank you for helping you out, because that goes a long way as well. Post real life throughout your parties. If you're doing a text party or if you're doing an online party, post real life photos. That makes a big difference. You can easily search for those through Google and Facebook. Let's see. What else? Oh, to end, because it looks like my laptop's about to die. So do it with fear. Do it with fear, you guys. If you're not fearful, I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you're not fearful of your challenge, if you're not feeling challenged, if the next thing that you're doing in your Scentsy business doesn't bring you fear, there's no growth in that. And you're going to be stagnant. Do it scared. We hear that all the time, right? Do it scared. Go live, bring a friend with you. Go live, ask for host, make that personal connection. Your people are going to want to support you. They're going to be they're going to want to be there for you and have fun with it, no matter what the party concept is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because, like I said, I don't want my laptop to die. So thank you guys so much for watching the live. Because my laptop might die, I'm going to put your names into my app and my drawing, and then I'll post it in just a little bit on Team Faith and Soul as far as who has won. I'm going to do the app just so it's not biased. But I'm going to post a recording on this Monday on the YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.